Hey everyone, welcome back to the Digital Deep Dive Show with me, Reed Daly. If you are new around here, this is a show where we talk about technology moving the masses from the consumer to the enterprise and everywhere in between. The show is available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. And if you like to read, you can check us out on our newsletter through LinkedIn. You can find me at Reed Daly on LinkedIn, X, and Instagram. And with all that said, let's jump into the show. So starting off with the headlines. So OpenAI's study mode is here. OpenAI launched study mode in ChatGPT to elevate learning experiences. Users can explore curated content ways with AI-generated summaries and citations, turning ChatGPT from a task assistant into a true learning partner. Enterprises should evaluate study mode for L&D. It can enhance onboarding, upskilling, and ongoing education, cutting costs and boosting learning retention in faster moving industries. One of the things I've talked about on this show was that I've had the opportunity to use LinkedIn Learning, and I am actually pretty impressed with it. I like the way that it's facilitated through LinkedIn. I really enjoy the classes. The online materials have gotten better from 10, 15 years ago. But if you could kind of maybe jump into, ChatGPT and say, here's my thesis of like where I am and what I need to know, and they could put a curated sort of learning path together that could be module based, day, week, month, year based. I think that would be immensely powerful. Not to mention the sort of onboarding or upskilling that it could do if you could sort of ingest L&D learning or SCORM files, which is the type of file that most L&D programs use. And you could build like a curated onboarding experience to someone based on their background and what they need to know about the organization or the unique way that, a business unit or industry goes to market at your company. I think, it's pretty quickly going to come into vogue to do this. I think for some of the professional organizations that have to do continued professional education credits, there's probably a little nuance there to get it better and more accurate. But for general sort of get smart, get educated, get onboarding quickly, efficiently, and engaging, I think this makes total sense. And I look forward to seeing sort of small businesses take advantage of it, individuals take advantage of it, and then down the road, enterprises. Continue with the AI theme. Let's talk about Databricks and OpenAI sealing a $100 million AI partnership. Now, when you read the headlines of a $100 million AI partnership, it sounds like huge money. But, when I think about some of the deals that OpenAI is doing, this is a drop in the hat. That being said, a Databricks this $100 million deal is to integrate GPT-5 into its data intelligence platform via AgentBricks. This enables secure, scalable AI agents that operate directly on enterprise data. Now, the lower friction for AI adoption within the enterprise is that they can build agents in-house without moving sensitive data outside. And this is like the big challenge. All of these organizations over the last 2.5 years since GPT 3.5 came out have been excited about doing AI. And I think the consumer is moving very fast. I think the small and medium businesses are moving fast, but the enterprise is not. And that's largely because their data is sitting on on-prem servers or in the cloud, but they're afraid to allow AI agents to crawl that data for security and privacy reasons, and for good reason. So the fact that you can keep your data within Databricks and that's secure, and then you can put an AI agent on top of that and have it in-house, I think it's only going to make the ability to data more efficiently and effectively. The more that see companies like Databricks, Snowflake, Fabric, providing that sort of in the cloud data lake that can pull data from multiple systems and then being able to query that data, I think you're going to see the move from GUI-based applications to prompt-based applications via text or auditory, where an individual is saying, hey, I have this thesis, and let's run through some of the data and see where we're at. Now, that's sort of like the first order of effect. I think the second order of effect is once you've done that, then you start to bring in sort of ML and AI agents to automate some of those activities. And then you're doing predictive and prescriptive analytics based on, your querying and moving the needle. So for an organization getting going on this, I think Databricks is a great solution. And the fact that they've got AI agents available will only make an organization's ability to use their data to make next best action more efficient and effective. Moving on to GoodNotes and continuing down the AI theme, of course. So GoodNotes evolves into a team collaboration platform. GoodNotes now supports collaborative document and includes an AI assistant for summarizing content suggestions, targeting professional workflows beyond education. So just some context, GoodNotes is like a kind of a note-taking app that does some brainstorming, and they're moving from what I'll call consumer to the enterprise or professional, I should say. And the consumer productivity apps are maturing into capabilities that you need for a business. And hybrid teams can leverage GoodNotes to improve collaboration, friction, and gain AI-powered assistance within daily workflows. Now, this is like subtle but impactful. Teams using tablets can now have a single space to co-edit notes, track tasks, and summarize meetings. Think of this as like a whiteboard, a digital whiteboard. And, I've seen alternatives from Notion and OneNote, and I remember seeing like a Google Jamboard, 8 years ago, and was blown away and was always surprised why that tech didn't evolve. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that those big screens are just costly. But if you can sort of jam with people and do a mind meld where you're putting sort of a whiteboard in the cloud and able to, make notes and pull in third-party data and sort of talk about things, I think it will help, product teams, app teams, software teams, and even pro services get to theses faster, get to proof of concepts faster, MVPs faster. And I'm going to go check it out. I haven't checked out this version of GoodNotes, but I did explore GoodNotes pretty heavily last year before I was buying my Remarkable tablet, and I was really impressed. Of course, we're jumping from talking about AI in apps to talking about how AI can help with content creation. I make this show. This show is produced using Riverside, the application, and then it goes on YouTube. And I use Riverside to edit my clips, and then I do some thumbnailing with Canva, and I produce it, export it, and then upload it to YouTube. Now, YouTube, or Made on YouTube, is showcasing some AI tools for live streaming, automated editing, and content remixing, aiming to simplify production and scale content. Now, I think about these tools in one of two ways. One is I have the ability to pay the $20 a month to use Riverside, but some content creators don't, both domestically and abroad. And having tools to edit things within YouTube, which is essentially free, just allows users to get content out and make it more professional, make it more engaging, make it more original, having different derivatives of it based on like the remixing. And I also like the fact that, Google, the parent company of YouTube, or Gemini, Alphabet, apologize. Alphabet and YouTube, have a ton of AI power in the tank, so to speak. And you're going to see new ideas coming out of YouTube that, companies like Riverside and similar brands haven't thought of, and they're going to essentially like clone or steal the ideas and vice versa. So I always like to see when YouTube is new features to make video production more efficient and effective, because then you're going to see companies like Riverside kind of look at what they've done and either clone it or do something different. And looking forward to seeing what's next from YouTube, and of course continue to use it for this show. The last thing in the kind of news around tech is a non-AI story. So Aura Ring, I've got my wedding ring on, but essentially it's a ring that goes on your finger, and I've talked about that on this show. Tracks vitals and is similar to some of the data that you would get from a Whoop band or from your Apple Watch or any of the other sort of tracking apps. And Aura Ring's been around for a number of years, and it's very discreet. Some people wear it on their right hand with their wedding ring on their left. Some people actually replace their wedding ring with it. Doesn't matter. But one of the things that they're doing is they've raised $875 million in a Series E to basically reach an $11 billion valuation. And they're trying to expand, it seems, into the enterprise space. So workplace wellness is becoming increasingly more, I wouldn't say important, but more interesting as a benefit to businesses. I know at my job, I'm able to use a similar service where I had sort of a Whoop like band and it would push data into an app. And then I had like an actual human coach. Now, the band was trash and I stopped wearing it. It was thick and bulky. And I think I broke it even in swimming. But that's another story. I do think enterprise organizations want to help their staff understand what's going on, what are the stresses of, their daily lives, their work lives. And, there is a balance, right, between what's appropriate for a business to know about its employees and not. And I'm not trying to get into the big brother kind of aspect of this, but it is nice to know, like, hey, I need like a day off, or I need to take like a half day because I'm just tapped, right? I've been on the road, a bunch of proposals, bunch of stressful clients, whatever. And so just knowing, beyond just like, hey, I'm feeling tired, but like having the data, I think brands like Aura Ring can help individuals who maybe were not as tuned in to where they are in terms of their stress recovery and active rates. And I think businesses giving individuals tools and paying for that is a nice way for organizations to help their employees be the best they can be. And I think from an individual standpoint, it's really cool to see, I think, more than, your outputs, but your recovery, your sleep, and you know how you're feeling 2 days, 3 days later, and start to look at like what's causing those impacts. So excited to continue to see Aura Ring's journey, as am I, seeing Whoops. And of course, Apple continues to evolve their watch, with the latest watch having even more sensors to look at what's going on in and outside of your body. All right, going from news in tech, let's talk about the deep dive for this week. And I'm pretty fired up for this. This has been a long time coming. So for years now, I've been working and using HubSpot in my daily lives. I've got it hooked up to my personal email. I've got it hooked up to Daily Blend for my podcasting. I love the tools. My key features, obviously, beyond just it being a fantastic to use CRM with a great mobile app. I love documents, I love email templates, and I love sequencing. Those are like, if you were to ask me, those are my favorite features. And now, as someone that's working more closely with HubSpot, bringing the services to customers around the globe, I'm spending more time with the HubSpot team and the HubSpot ecosystem. And, I was looking through sort of the 2025 essential apps for sales the last couple days. And so the community within HubSpot has identified 14 essential apps for sales in 2025. And this really breaks down into sort of, 4 different categories. So you've got efficiencies, collaboration, data-driven decisions, and enterprise edge. And, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give links to the community page where it has these 14 essential apps. And then I'm going to take my own cut of these and kind of work over the next few weeks to really dive into a lot of the apps that are highlighted in this list, and some that are not, that I think are special, unique, and bring a competitive edge to using HubSpot, to your organization, to RevOps, as you're looking to grow and scale your business. What I think makes this list unique is a little different than maybe in years past. I think in years past, we were looking at things like, the basic sort of, I don't want to call it basic, but the tried and true sort of integration with email and, CPQ, where I think because of the investment HubSpot has made in AI, you've got integrated automation with routine tasks, proposals, and follow-ups, AI-powered assistance. The Breeze AI agent, which is the branded term for HubSpot's AI, is fantastic. From handling prospects, leads, insights, and responses to creating content tasks. I can go in there and say, create 5 opportunities or deals rather over the next, 3 months. Let's have them on Tuesdays of every month. and let's put a dollar amount and tag them to this user. And it takes about a minute, and then it's done. I mean, that gives me back 30 minutes of time, and that's immensely helpful. And then the unified sales ecosystem. So you have multiple tools working seamlessly with HubSpot and reducing friction and improving adoption. Now, over the next couple of weeks, like I mentioned, we're going to dive into key apps with each episode. And so we're going to start with efficiencies, work down to collaboration, then move into data-driven decisions, and then the sort of enterprise edge. I'm going to be producing my own sort of apps for 2025, and I'll be sharing those later in the quarter as we get closer to November. Excited to spend more time with the HubSpot team and bringing HubSpot to the middle market. I think it's just a fantastic app that really works well for the mid-market. There's obviously other solutions out there that do similar tasks, but I think where I love what HubSpot has done is they've made the UI so approachable for digital maturity at like a low level up to a high level. The ability to do configuration, to add fields, to do associations of data layers or data elements, and then the Breeze AI agent just makes this tool fantastic. So I look forward to diving into HubSpot with you all over the coming weeks. And if you have any questions, you've been debating on going to check out HubSpot for the CRM, for their marketing tools, their website capabilities, or customer service, give me a call. Love to walk you through like our capabilities, what we're doing for customers around the globe, and showcase, the power of HubSpot. All right, moving on to where we can connect on the road and around the globe. So I've got 3 events coming up in the month of October. So we've got in Chicago, the Capital Returns in a Shifting Market. So the ACG Chicago chapter explores how international trade policies, tariffs, geotension, and global economic conditions are reshaping the deal landscape in the U.S. middle market. Then in October 16th, that I'm heading to Smart Business Dealmakers Conference, also in Chicago. I've been to a Smart Businesses Deal Conference in Boston. I really like it. It's got a balance of what I'll call programming, so like content and topics. It's got sort of curated meetings, both on the deal front and just general overview. And it's got sort of a social networking aspect. So looking forward to going to my first Dealmakers Conference in Chicago. And then closing out the month, West Capital Connect. We've got a number of team members coming from my firm that will be at Capital Connect, and always a good event to see folks in and around Chicago that live here and are doing deals here, as well as folks that are flying in for the event. Closing out the show, you can check me out on Instagram, X, and LinkedIn at Read Daily. You can subscribe to the newsletter on LinkedIn. Check out the show, download and stream on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And with that said, we will catch you on Monday for the special edition of the Sprint to Value mini series that we've been producing. And it's been super fun to build on top of this fantastic ebook in my Unlocking Alpha mini series. So look forward to having you join on episode number 4 or chapter number 4 of that, which is cash management. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you on the next episode.